In this crooked game of power politics here in America, the Negro, namely the race problem, integration, civil rights issue, are all nothing but tools used by the whites who call themselves liberals against another group of whites who call themselves conservatives, either to get into power or to retain power. Among whites here in America, the political teams are no longer divided into Democrats and Republicans. The whites who are now struggling for control of the American political throne are divided into liberal and conservative camps. The white liberals from both parties cross party lines to work together toward the same goal, and white conservatives from both parties do likewise. The white liberal differs from the white conservative only in one way. The liberal is more deceitful, more hypocritical than the conservative. Both want power, but the white liberal is the one who has perfected the art of posing as the Negro's friend and benefactor. And by winning the friendship and support of the Negro, the white liberal is able to use the Negro as a pawn or a weapon in this political football game that is constantly raging between the white liberals and the white conservatives. The American Negro is nothing but a political football, and the white liberals control this ball through tricks or tokenism, false promises of integration and civil rights. In this game of deceiving and using the American Negro, the white liberals have complete cooperation of the Negro civil rights leader, who sell our people out for a few crumbs of token recognition, token gains, token progress.
Tokens, tokens, tokens. Are you tired? Man, I'm tired. I'm fucking tired of the shitty candidates we continue to have to choose from. And I'm not advocating not to vote. You need to vote. Our ancestors died for these rights, and you need to use them. But voting for black people, in my opinion, won't change a thing. Just like you pouring out liquor for your dead loved ones won't bring them back. But you still pour out that.
Julio. What you said? Julio. I just need a dog, Julio.
Hi, cut that shit off. This is a serious topic. All jokes aside, go vote even though it won't change anything for us. Because we own nothing as a group. To create change, first we build businesses and communities. Only buying black when you can. Then we buy the politicians, and then we demand changes. The other way to create change is to do it the way our ancestors did it, which was protest. And no, I'm not referring to you marching after a police shooting. I'm referring to us boycotting businesses, not going to work, disrupting the whole system, which I know will never happen again because most of us are comfortable. We too comfortable, including me, which is uncomfortable for me to say, so I'm gonna switch subjects because you're here for the politics. So let's talk about this. For starters, both sides are focused on the wrong things. It shouldn't be red versus blue. It should be rich versus poor, because whether you personally get an abortion or not, that's not my baby. My life doesn't change. If you collect a bunch of guns, most of which you'll never shoot, why do I care? That doesn't affect my life. But what I do care about is the old rich folks robbing the hell out of us young folks.
Education continues to increase in price while becoming less valuable in the market. Consumer debt is rising rapidly, burdening young people more than ever. The US continues to spend money like it grows on trees, handing out benefits to the old while taxing the young. And all of this happens while young people are split between red and blue. Wake up. The solution isn't Democrat or Republican. We have seen both parties come in and out over the decades, and your lives have continued to get worse. They took away your dream of starting a family, and you said nothing. They took away the chance to own a home, and you said nothing. They spend on programs for the old and tell you to work forever, and you said
nothing. And that's my biggest point in this video. So let's talk about why black people don't have a candidate. And I really can't speak for all of you, but I know I don't have a candidate. And in this video, I'm going to discuss the BS I see from both parties. And if you don't like it, I don't care. Let's get started. The Republican Party has always been the party that's against helping people who look like me. Republicans say Abraham Lincoln was a Republican, but this is Abraham Lincoln's electoral map. In fact, you can Google any presidential electoral map and see that in the past, northern states like New York were Republican, and then they switched. But still to this day, you'll hear people lie about this.
Why you got Donald Trump?
Because I paid attention in school when I was a kid, and so I know the true history of both the Republican and Democratic Party. I know that they really didn't switch during the Nixon Southern strategy, that one became more clever than the other in dealing with black people.
We know based on our history that during the Civil War, the North fought to abolish slavery and the South fought to keep slavery. And after you Google Lincoln's electoral map, you have to ask yourself, what is more likely to have happened? A, the clever politicians tricked black Americans into voting for the same people that were oppressing them. B, the states just switched political parties. Or C, all the Republicans from New York moved to the South. And I'm all for parties changing and growing, but in 2024, Republican voters, forget the politicians, the Republican base doesn't even try to act like they like black people. In this clip, you will see a man wearing the full KKK costume. This took place in Pennsylvania, and notice everyone around him is okay with this. It's perfectly normal.
I watch how wokeness destroyed people of my age. They hate America, they hate guns, and I was law enforcement. And they were teaching us every day, because you're white, you cannot pull over people based on their skin color, you cannot judge, and you have to watch your mouth or they will kick you out of the military and punish you. I've watched good men be dishonorably discharged, and they forced the jab on us too. I had to get out at that point.
Talk about saying the quiet part out loud. And I simply wonder how a party can do what's best for her but also do what's best for me.
Remember the pro-Trump rally on January 6th? These are some of the symbols that the crowd displayed.
And you're telling me I should be voting alongside of these people? Absolutely not. And before you say the party might have some racists, but can you name one time Trump was racist?
Okay, I will. 1973, the Nixon administration sued Trump for refusing to rent to black people. 1980s, Trump's casinos were accused of hiding the black staff when Trump visited. 1989, Trump took out a full-page ad arguing for the death penalty for a group of 5 black men at Central Park 5, effectively putting a bounty on their heads and plaguing them with a lifetime of death threats. He was sued by the Justice Department for discrimination. 1991, black guys counting my money, I hate it. The only kinds of people I want counting my money are short guys that wear yarmulkes every day. I think that the black guy is lazy, and it's probably not his fault because laziness is a trait in blacks. It really is. 1992, Trump's casino was fined $200,000 for transferring black dealers off certain tables to appease racist patrons. 1993, Trump said Native American casinos shouldn't be allowed because they don't look like Indians to me.
Is this you discussing Indian blood? We're going to judge people by whether they have Indian blood, whether they're qualified to run a gaming casino or not?
That probably is me, absolutely. Because I tell you what, if you look at some of the reservations that you've approved, you, sir, in your great wisdom have approved, I will tell you right now, they don't look like Indians to me, and they don't look like the Indians. Now, maybe we say politically correct or not politically correct. They don't look like Indians to me, and they don't look like Indians to Indians, and a lot of people are laughing at it, and you're telling how tough it is, how rough it is to get approved. Well, you go up to Connecticut, and you look. Now, they don't look like Indians to me, sir.
Thank God that's not the test of whether or not people have rights in this country or not, whether or not they pass your look test.
Depends whether or not you're approving it, sir.
No, it's not a question whether I'm approving it. It's not a question whether I'm approving it. Mr. Trump, you know in the history of this country where we've heard this discussion before, they don't look Jewish to me.
Oh, really?
They don't look Indian to me. They don't look Italian to me.
Mm-hmm.
And that was a test for whether people could go into business or not go into business, whether they could get a bank loan. You're too black, you're not black enough.
2000, Trump ran a series of attack ads against Native American casinos alleging, with no proof, that they were guilty of crimes. 2004, Trump fired a black contestant from The Apprentice for being overeducated. 2010, Trump arguing in favor of segregating Muslims in Lower Manhattan. 2011, birtherism. Trump alleged that Obama was Kenyan based on nothing but skin color. He never apologized nor renounced the claim.
And I'm not saying that if Biden was still running, I couldn't find some things he's done as well, But it's not just the politicians, it's also their voting base.
A black person commented on my post, is Donald Trump actually racist? That is the question. I actually don't believe that that's the question. Here's why. There are real-life white racist groups in America that are active and identified by the FBI publicly that are self-proclaimed racist. We don't have to guess about Donald Trump being racist. We have actual self-proclaimed racists in America. All we have to do is ask them, who do they think is best for their agenda? Let's start at the very top. David Duke, the Grand Wizard of the KKK, who has very publicly many times reiterated their support for Donald Trump, saying that they are, quote, 100% behind the president's agenda, and has said many times that they and Trump represent the same ideals. Don Black, the leader of the self-proclaimed white supremacist anti-black group called Stormfront that has also been confirmed by the FBI, has also said many times that Donald Trump becoming president has been great support to their agenda. Steve Smith, the leader of the Keystone State Skinheads, a profoundly violent racist group identified by the FBI, communicates his support for Donald Trump every time he gets in front of a camera. And he just keeps going. The SPLC is the group that is responsible for bankrupting the KKK. They put out a list of the 170 active racist groups. If you go on their website, every single group supports Donald Trump. So if you're black, I don't think the question is Donald Trump racist? I think the question is, why do racists believe that he's racist? Why do people who come together around one idea, and that idea is the denigration of non-white people in America, why do they believe Donald Trump is best for their agenda? What does the Grand Wizard of the KKK see in Donald Trump that he likes? And if you're a person of color, how can Trump be good for him and you? Why do all of those groups like him so much? Do you think it's his economic policy? Do you think that these people get together and pick a candidate based off of economic policy? And if you're a white person that's considering voting for Donald Trump that doesn't consider themselves to be racist, what does it feel like knowing that you walk in the voting box and you hit the same button as some of the most abhorrently, flagrantly racist Americans? What does that feel like, being lockstep with them?
That's the million-dollar question. But don't worry, we got answers.
And if you want to know why O'Shea, why are you pushing the ticket for Donald Trump and the Republicans, even though you know they got some people over there that feel just like Myron? I'm going to tell you why. Because them people I listen to right now, they was honest about how they felt. And as much as they don't want to be around me, I don't want to be around them. And you know what that's going to give me the opportunity to do? They're going to stay over there. I'm going to stay over here. And I can build with the community like we had in the 40s and the 50s when we had more wealth. One of every 3 African Americans by the time 1960 came had a house. And we were doing the best financially at that particular time without so much interference.
Back then, communities stuck together, which is why we were so successful. We had families, but you see, some blacks say they rather a racist say the quiet part out loud, and to some extent, I agree with that, because I know to avoid them. But what concerns me is when you give people like that power to change laws, they do things like destroy affirmative action. They get rid of DI hiring. And you and I both know the Democrats may not create policies that help black Americans, but they damn sure don't have the balls to change policies that will hurt us. So even if I showed you clips of Joe Biden being racist and Joe Biden wanting to do things that harm black Americans, we all know he would never win another election. But doing this is exactly what Trump's base wants because, according to Trump,
I am the least racist person there is anywhere in the world.
But what about Kamala? Oh, Kamala. I heard a comedian say it best. A Democrat is like that really nice uncle who promises to take you to Disney World, but then something always comes up and he never comes through.
And a Republican is like this grumpy uncle, and he tells you there's no money for Disney World. But then you find out that he went without you.
So Kamala Harris, how do you feel about reparations?
In the area of reparations for descendants of Africans enslaved. If you elected president, would you sign that bill if it came across your desk?
When I am elected president, I will sign that bill.
And I know what you're thinking. It's time to dance.
Get up here. Let's dance. Let's dance.
Stop the show.
DJ, play Kamala's theme music.
Why the fuck you lying? Why you always lying?
I mean, technically she didn't lie, because in order for her to sign a bill, Congress, the House, and the Senate would have to pass a reparation bill first, and that's not gonna happen. So when Al Sharpton said,
If you elected president, would you sign that bill if it came across your desk?
she can say yes and get points from the black voters because she knows that bill will never come across her desk. But even if she didn't need approval to do it, she still wouldn't, because rich people, Democrats and Republicans, don't want that. Just like Democrats promised student loan forgiveness, knowing both parties never wanted to do it, because if they did, the president could do it today. He could do it right now.
It can never be understated enough that according to debt forgiveness lawyers that have advocated for the cancellation of student loans, legally, Joseph Robinette Biden, who is still the president all the way until the next president gets sworn in early 2025 in January. Hopefully civics class is normal this time and there's no back and forth about it. He can legally write an executive order saying that he is canceling a certain amount of student loans. He has stated numerous times that he's uncomfortable with that idea and that he believes Congress should do it. That's why we're here talking about this. After we got student loan forgiveness dangled in our face for how long?
And you see, that's the shit I don't like. Don't piss on me and tell me it's raining.
Okay.
No Diddy.
I can point to three things that I like. I can point to the fact that I love, her mental health advocacy, and she's put her money where her mouth is since she's been vice president. I've been gave her props for that. Even though I do
What did
not
she do? What did she do?
$285 million to mental health initiatives to increase the number of mental health professionals, right? I think that they marketed it terrible. Nobody even fucking knew unless you follow her and unless you are in the mental health space. I love her stance on small businesses. She has absolutely positively helped not just small businesses around the country, but in particular small black businesses with her economic empowerment plan. Those are things that I've always liked about her. Those are things that I actually supported her on. Her black maternal health thing. I'm a father of 4. I've watched my wife go through, extremely hard births. I've seen doctors firsthand. Well, we don't have no epidural. She could just deliver it. Like, what the fuck? Yeah. And I got money.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Right? And I've seen that happen to her. So those are three things that I can point to in particular where I could be like, all right, regardless of, how you may feel about her, the individual, these are the issues that I can rock with.
But I don't, because it's not specific enough for me. Biden and Harris administration have no problem getting specific when it comes to other Americans. So that's cap. And I don't believe when she says helping all Americans will help black families.
So by default, it affects black families, but there's not a particular policy for African Americans that you would explore.
But no, if you look at the reality of who will benefit from certain policies, when you take into account that they're not starting at the same place and they're not starting on equal footing, it will directly benefit black children, black families, black homeowners, because the disparities are so significant. So if we focus on the specific issues that have resulted in the greatest disparities, and we understand that that's part of why we're doing it. Listen, the reality also is this: any policy that will benefit black people will benefit all of society. Let's be clear about that. Let's really be clear about that. So I'm not going to sit here and say I'm going to do something that's only going to benefit black people. No, because whatever benefits that black family will benefit that community and society as a whole and the country.
And the reason why you've seen this clip probably 100 times is because it's stupid if black people started a race 100 meters in back of all the other races and Kamala comes along and says, I'm going to give everyone a 50-meter head start. I mean, that's cool and all, but I'm still 100 meters in back of all the other races. And then there's this.
But like not Uncle Tom, but like Uncle Tommy, or like you were a complete sellout.
First of all, it sounded like that was a non-black person telling me that. So as a Democrat, that sounds pretty racial and pretty divisive. Next, it's very interesting that I, again, would be called names or be compared to fictional characters because of who I choose to support. Again, these people who are calling and making these derogatory statements about me, who I choose to support, are denying the fact that, again, who are you to tell me that my personal experience is invalid? I think that that's something that a lot of Democrats need to look within, because how have you tried? Kamala Harris is in office right now and has not tried to do anything about the border, has not tried to not tax people on tips, and has not tried to do anything about our failing education system. So everything that she's promising she can do for you on day one, she could do right now, but she's not trying to. So that's something to, for some Dems to take home. So are you telling me that with all the black wealth that exists here in Atlanta, with all the black millionaires that live here in Atlanta, why in the world do 92% of APS students are illiterate? Make it make sense. And we have Democratic mayors, we have Democratic city council members, we have Democratic commissioners, and for whatever reason, 92% of the kids here cannot read. That statistic did not exist in Nevada. So again, I don't know if it was the fact that I got lucky. I can't say that, oh my God, it's the teachers that suck out here. I would never demean our educators here in Atlanta. But what we can acknowledge is the numbers, sir. And so while you want to call me not smart, please tell me what your side has done to fix the illiteracy rate that we see in our black children. Absolutely nothing. And in fact, not only have they not done anything to address the illiteracy issue, but then they're further confusing your kids by telling them that men can give birth, by telling them that there's 53 genders, and that by telling them that your love for your best friend must mean that you are gay, you are a pansexual, asexual. Kids under the age of anything high school should not be thinking anything sexual, period. Sexual should not even be in their vocabulary. So for you to say that I'm not smart because I'm willing to call out all of the degeneracy that exists within our current education system only points to your lack of intelligence and your lack of initiative to actually do something in regards to saving our children and saving our schools.
Oh yeah, we're gonna talk about it. But first, let's get back on why people are voting for Trump.
I've been talking to a lot of black men. They say they're supporting Donald Trump. Do you believe that? But who are you voting for?
Donald Trump. Trump.
I have to go Trump, man. You said Trump.
Yes. I think they are, and I think the reason why, the money he gave away last time he was in office is what they're looking for again.
What money?
Even if it was illegally or legally, the PPE loans, stimulus, stuff like that.
That wasn't him.
Who was that?
That was a Democratic Congress.
Oh, that was
he doesn't give away money.
I didn't know that. I didn't know what they probably think that's what the case is.
They're actually looking and seeing who's going to benefit me more. Let me not just make a blind vote.
He run with the colored people. He run with our type. That's why we like him, because he's more for us.
I think a lot of black men, they want something different. They don't just want to follow the black vote.
Are y'all in the same household?
Yes, sir.
He kind of feel like his vote doesn't count almost. Yeah. That's the part that's kind of discouraging.
Yeah. The top people see a difference, but the bottom people don't see a difference too much. It takes a long time for us to see a difference.
Stuff happened with George Floyd. I say he gave us stimulus checks. Even though that was nothing, he didn't have to do that. He still blessed us with stimulus checks.
He didn't do the stimulus checks. He didn't want to do it. That was a Democratic Congress. He only held it up to get his name on the check.
I did not know that. F Trump, man. I don't like Trump no more. F Trump. Kamala Harris. Kamala for president. Kamala for president.
If I could die from embarrassment, I promise you, this would have took me clean out.
If another person tells me I'm voting for Trump because I made real money when Trump was in office, you're gonna have to show me your bank account and your living situations. What type poor ass niggas are y'all? What the fuck? Bro, it's been 4 fucking years since that stimulus. It's been 4 fucking years since the SBA, the PPP loans, and all that shit. It's been 4 goddamn years. Shut the fuck up and go make some real money. Get a job, you bum broke ass niggas. We went through a whole pandemic, so he had to give us money. Everybody. It wasn't enough manpower to regulate the system, so a lot of people was able to get over. I feel that. I swear I do too. How much money did you make the first 3 years he was in office, since you just made all this money with Trump in office? Oh, no fucking money? Duh, you didn't make shit, dickhead. You only made the money that you made because it was a pandemic and you got over. It's been 4 fucking years. Let it go. I don't care if you made $80,000 off of PPP loans and all that other shit. It's been 4 goddamn years. That's 20 bands a year. You could work at fucking McDonald's for that at this point. You ain't make $1 since the fucking pandemic, you broke ass bitches. You voting for Trump and then literally banking on the whole world falling into disarray again so you could get another stimulus check?
Seriously though, how dusty are you? And if it ain't about the stimulus checks, well, roll this clip.
Y'all see the president, well, the nigga that's running, Trump. He got shot, dog. They shot him. This nigga done been shot, this nigga done went to jail, he done scammed people. And this nigga my uncle? Who the fuck? Who the hell? He's black. He's officially black now, bro. This is beautiful. They shot him. He was like, yeah, I'm having a fine. He was fine. He was doing like this and walked out with an American flag on him. Like this. He put one of these like, I'm a real nigga. Fuck, nigga, I'm out of here. That's hard, bro. I wasn't even finna vote. I'm voting now, dog. He got it. He won. I wasn't even finna vote. I had no skin in the game. I like, that nigga got shot, he won. Fuck the bullshit. He had real ops. Nigga, what the fuck? Joe Biden's biggest op is the stairs. That's it.
And I'd laugh at these jokes if people really took them as jokes. But people are really considering voting for Trump simply because he got shot. Honestly, most people I know that are voting for Trump fit into these 3 categories. 1, they make a lot of money and want those tax cuts. 2, they're low income and they don't understand how the economy works, because there's no way you can brag about Trump giving out the stimulus money and also complain about inflation that was caused by, guess what? The stimulus money. And the 3rd one are people that are bragging about him getting shot. And speaking of low income people,
what's stunning to me is the people with the least money look up to and vote for the people that took their money. Do you want to go down how that happened? Reagan adopted trickle-down economics, which said if we give the rich people more money, they will give it to poor people. And then the dumb poor people waited for that money to trickle down. It didn't. The London School of Economics did a study of 18 countries over the last 50 years. They found out that not only did the poor get absolutely nothing with trickle down except bent over and something weird trickling down their leg, the rich benefited and more than doubled their wealth. Yeah, no trickle for the poor and a raging river of quan for the rich. Yet the South, the poorest parts of our country, overwhelmingly vote for the people that continue to make the South the poorest parts of our country.
Democrats and Republicans stay poor due to social issues.
To you hardcore conservatives who actually think the Republicans have your back, can you tell me how? Guns? Okay, so you get to have unlimited, no permit, concealed carry. Why? We've had more mass shootings than days in the year. How scared are you? And what are you scared of? Minorities? Immigrants? Well, in a comprehensive study done by Princeton University in 2020, they found that U.S.-born citizens are over 2 times more likely to be arrested for violent crimes, 2.5 times more likely to be arrested for drug crimes, and over 4 times more likely to be arrested for property crimes than immigrants. You know, Americans, patriots, commit more crime and do more damage than the people who came here legally and illegally. Yeah, put that in your flag and burn it.
In this next statement, I thought was a bar.
To those of you who think that owning the libs is more important than owning your own home, keep voting Republican. But do it knowing that they are the people that made your life suck. And they did it by scaring you.
But we haven't talked about immigration. We haven't talked about the importance of family. We haven't talked about LGBTQ stuff. And you're not about to get me canceled, so I found some people to talk about it for me.
I have a message to the Democrat Party and to Kamala Harris, and this is a message from real black women. We were freed on January 1st of 1863. Therefore, you're not going to control us. You're not going to bully us into voting for whomever you select for your own personal gain. We're not going to do what you say because we're afraid of you. Those days are over. But I also wanted to specifically address what you're doing with Kamala Harris. First of all, most of us do not care what her race is.
Cap.
I'm going to just be real honest with this. She's a black woman.
It doesn't even matter. None of that matters. None of that matters. Why? Only because of that.
Because I would love to see a woman in office.
And I can't speak for black women. Obama got my vote because he was black. But now that I'm older and wiser, you're going to have to show me something.
You could have promoted her as just a good candidate. But the fact that you're promoting her as the black woman candidate, that makes people that are intelligent, that makes us pause and say, okay, so what? She's the black female. Tell me something about what she's going to do for my community, for my family, and for my country. If you can't do that, then you've made a great mistake. You have lost half of us who are intelligent enough to know that the President of the United States must be able to sit across a table from Vladimir Putin, Kim Jong-un, from whomever the new prime minister is, or president of Iran, and from Yi from China.
All right, Auntie. It's Vladimir Putin and Kim Jong-un. I'm going to move on.
We got homelessness in the streets of America. We got black folks out here. We've been struggling for a long time, but somehow, some way, you come up with $53 million for prepaid credit cards for illegal immigrants that were brought over to this city. Okay, we have a situation where you've got homelessness raking through the cities of New York, Chicago, LA. Don't get me started with LA, because I'm there a lot, and it's really, really bad out there. But somehow, some way, you don't have money to address crime, to address education, to address homelessness in this country. But somehow, some way, you got billions to throw over to Ukraine to fight a war against Russia. I'm not saying you shouldn't have done it, okay? Russia attacked them. You want to protect them as best as you can. You don't want Russia gaining additional territory. But how'd you come up with the money? Where you get the money from? Okay, and if you had the money to give to Ukraine, that means you had the money to address these problems.
Where did you get the money, Democrats? At least the Republican states can say they don't have the money because they're subsidized by the New Yorks and the Californias. But are black people supposed to ignore these issues? Because I said it earlier, the Democrats would never run on policies that would hurt the voters, but they also have no problem spending money on everything else but things that will help their voters. It's my personal opinion that they're bringing immigrants into this country for cheap labor. But who does that help? The rich, the people who own the businesses.
Springfield, Ohio. Springfield's a small blue-collar city with a familiar story. Much of the factory work left decades ago, and the residents followed. A community of more than 80,000 emptied out to less than 60.
So how do you replace the workforce? You bring immigrants in, and you make it sound like the United States is the good guy for taking on refugees.
Because of that violence, the U.S. granted what's called temporary protected status to Haitians in the U.S., giving them limited time permission to live and work here. TPS was then expanded by the Biden administration. Mirsu says he came to Springfield for the same reason most Haitians did. He heard that housing was cheap and jobs were plentiful.
It started slowly. We had an application pool that was a little bit different.
People coming to work here.
People looking for jobs. What he's welding here again are welded axle components.
Jamie McGregor is the CEO of McGregor Metal, which makes welded parts for the auto and farm industries. Right now, about 10% of his workforce is Haitian, over 30 employees.
I wish I had 30 more. Our Haitian associates come to work every day. They don't have a drug problem. They'll stay at their machine. They'll achieve their numbers. They are here to work. And so in general, that's a stark difference from what we're used to in our community.
The CEOs love the immigrants. They work hard, they don't complain about wages, and they don't complain about this quality of life because anything is better than where they came from.
The reason they left is their home country is disintegrating. Protests and increasing violence in the Caribbean nation culminated in the assassination of President Jovenel Moïse in 2021.
But the businesses aren't the only ones who benefit from this. I think they also need these immigrants to increase the tax revenue for the government. Sure, they'll help the immigrants get on their feet by providing them food stamps and other government benefits initially, but they'll get that money back in taxes. And in the long run, they can tax more people, and it's not like the CEO and politicians will ever live by immigrants, so they don't care. Your government also needs immigrants to fight their wars. The reason other countries respect the United States is mainly because of our military. Truth is, they fear us.
We have been honed into a machine of lethal moving parts that you would be wise to avoid if you know what's good for you. We will not be intimidated. We will not back down. We've seen war. We don't want war. But if you want war with the United States of America, there's one thing I can promise you, so help me God. Someone else will raise your sons and daughters.
And he's not lying. You see, this recent generation figured it out. We aren't going to war to protect our country. We're going to war for profit. And this next generation isn't dying so some rich oil billionaire can make a couple more billions. Me personally, I don't have anything against my immigrant brothers and sisters, especially the ones who look like me. But I believe anyone would feel some kind of way if immigrants came to their country and used up a lot of their resources and overwhelmed their community. It's my personal belief that Republicans banned abortions because their voting base was shrinking, and Democrats just imported their voting base in from different countries, and the government will tax all of these people. But let's continue.
Why can't we say how we feel about Kamala without automatically being Trump supporters? I never voted for Trump. I voted for freaking frack. Freaking frack were absolute trash. Literally the worst administration I have experienced thus far. And I know somebody's typing right now and saying, no, worse than Trump. Bro, I don't care how much you gotta lie to yourself, gaslight yourself to make this make sense for you. But they actually made Trump administration not look too bad. They were that trash. We have not seen frack since she said, we did it, frick. That was the last time we seen that lady.
Is she lying though? She got that VP job and hid in the corner.
It's simple as that. I never voted for Trump. I voted for frick and I voted for frack. So the fact that they tell us that frack is our only option, frack was selected, not elected. Nobody voted for this lady. Nobody delegated her. Nobody. They told us this is our option. So pardon the absolute hell out of me if I don't agree with this option they gave. I'm so sorry, not sorry. I don't care because I'm black and I'm a woman. I don't care. I don't like it. I think and here's the thing. Somebody's going to come in my comment section and say, well, what does the vice president do? Do they go missing for 3 years? We literally have not seen that lady for 3 years.
And she even talks about the immigrants.
Everybody just agrees with this lady being a president out of the sun. I don't understand it. But you know who immigrants do benefit? The woman who says it all the time. Equality. She wants everyone to be treated equally, whether you're born in this country or not. When she got on the stage and said, on the podium and said, oh, Americans are celebrating Christmas and having a Merry Christmas, and illegal immigrants and children are not living this way, and da-da-da-da-da.
And when we all sing happy tunes and sing Merry Christmas and wish each other Merry Christmas, these children are not going to have a Merry Christmas. How dare we speak Merry Christmas? How dare we?
Merry Christmas, everyone. Christmas is a time of hope and joy.
Now, when I saw this video, I laughed. But then I also thought this was clipped.
Only when they cleared that vet did we give them DACA status. And now we're talking about taking it away. It is morally wrong. And when we all sing happy tunes and sing Merry Christmas and wish each other Merry Christmas, these children are not going to have a Merry Christmas.
And this is why this video was so hard to make, because I had to go back and fact check a lot of the stuff. And hopefully I got all of it, because both parties lie like this.
Where we cut taxes, rolled back regulation, and advanced freedom, their agenda is higher taxes, open borders, socialized medicine, a Green New Deal, and abortion on demand. They want to make rich people poorer and poor people more comfortable.
Yeah, no shit. Mike Pence's old ass paused for so long, I just knew he got clipped, because that clip went viral. But here's what he said after.
They want to make rich people poorer and poor people more comfortable. We have fought to make every American richer, and that's exactly what we've done.
Which I think is a lie, but at least he didn't say the quiet part out loud. But his trickle-down economic policy plan did not help everyday working people. This has been tried before, and it never helps the lower or middle class.
Trump's economic plans aren't for you. He wants to expand his 2017 tax cuts for the rich.
You're rich as hell. We're going to give you tax cuts?
He claims it'll trickle down, but we go through this every time. Remember last time when Trump claimed everybody would get a $4,000 raise? I don't know about you, but I'm still waiting for mine. Reagan's tax cuts for the rich and big corporations were also supposed to trickle down. Instead, wage growth slowed. And the Bush tax cuts didn't trickle down either.
The Tax Cut and Job Act that was passed in 2017 by the Trump administration lowered the corporate tax rate from 35% to 21%. Trump believed the rich would take that money and hire more people. This would boost the economy, and like I said, this has been tried before and has never worked. And now apparently Trump has proposed to lower it to 15%.
My plan calls for expanded R&D tax credits, 100% bonus depreciation, expensing for new manufacturing investments, and a reduction in the corporate tax rate from 21% to 15% solely for companies that make their product in America.
This stuff helps out the rich, but how does it benefit you? Did you get a 14% tax cut? No. So let's go back to Kamala Harris.
Can we keep it real? Can I ask you a real question?
Sure.
Are y'all feeling a way that she's with a white man? Are we gonna be honest?
No.
I just wanna know.
I didn't have a chance. I mean, you know.
Yeah. So you know you're not.
If people can support her because she's black, people can choose not to support her because she went to a HBCU, and out of all of those brothers at Howard, she still didn't marry black.
Wait a minute, I'm feeling some resentment in the building. I just want to put the conversation out there, and we're gonna do more of these shows because I want to bring it back and have a conversation on relationship and all of that.
She want to host conversations about relationships. Ma'am, you don't even have a successful relationship to be lecturing black people on relationships. You have the same feminist let me emasculate black men rhetoric that's been destroying black relationships.
But I just want to put it out. Black women, we feel away. I'm just gonna keep it real. Black women gonna keep it real. We feel away when we see if Obama had a white wife, we would feel away. Raise the hand, women. We feel just like a little bit of a way. We're gonna be honest about it. Let's be real about it. What sister's gonna be real about it? I'll be real about it.
If Obama's wife was Mackenzie from Iowa or Maria from Miami, there's no way he would have won support of black people overall. Black women would have been so turned off if he had an interracial relationship, they would have turned everybody else away from him too. Everybody knows Michelle from Chicago is what solidified his black American support.
I'll be real about it. They don't want to tell y'all. They would feel away. So I just want to know, so we're looking at all of the black congressmen with their white wives, but I want to just keep it all the way a buck. I just want to keep, and all Republicans, by the way.
We gotta be honest. A lot of black women give other black women passes for interracial dating. It's a double standard in their book, and one I don't agree with.
And I just wanted, since we're here with all black folks, let's just be honest. There's some men, if Denzel Washington had a white one, we feel away. Not so much if somebody, so I just want to be honest about it. Is that a part of it? Is it because I've heard black men say it. I've seen black men say it. If she has that white husband, I got a problem with that because who she sleeps with, like Dr. Umar Johnson has said and many others said, makes a difference in how they feel in her support for black men. Are we going to be honest about it or are we going to play about it?
That's a very true statement.
It's a true statement.
It's a very true statement. And I mean, she's not gonna do too much that's gonna make Thanksgiving dinner uncomfortable. She doesn't go by her married name because she doesn't want y'all to remember that she's married to a white man.
Yeah, she said what she said. So I'll move on because a lot of people don't think Kamala is black.
Y'all saying that Kamala not black, but didn't y'all say that y'all grandma was Indian and that's why y'all had good hair? Don't worry, I'ma wait.
And when it comes to this topic, I'm always more concerned of if the individual who is of mixed race is for black people. Because there are people who have both black parents, but they don't identify as black. Kamala looks black, but sometimes she doesn't identify as black. And like I said, she didn't marry black.
But there is 100% a correlation between the normalized racism towards South Asians and the fact that a lot of y'all seem to ignore Kamala Harris's half Indian side when she is just as much Indian as she is black.
She identifies as black because 9 times out of 10, those were the people that accepted her. That side of her family was accepting. It's more often than not, when an Indian person mixes with a black person, their Indian family does not accept that. But if y'all mix with a white person, y'all are very accepting of it. Y'all praise him, actually, and it's disgusting.
Slightly off topic, but I find it very interesting that other races only claim the successful blacks, but if Kamala grew up to be a sexy red or an old little Kim for her age, Indian people wouldn't claim her. And I was gonna go back and talk about Trump and the Project 2025 stuff, like the things I heard about it said they're banning Black history in schools. But I gotta be honest with y'all. I skimmed through the 922-page document, including where people said to look, and I didn't see that. So I can't confirm or deny that that's in there. But it can't be good since Trump doesn't claim it, and the Democrats want to blame him for it. So there may be some terrible things in the bill that I haven't read, like the healthcare, climate change, and crime. But I won't talk about it because, like I said, I didn't read it. Honestly, some of the things I did see were blown out of proportion, like the fact that they want to eliminate the Head Start program. That's in there. But if you read along with me, it states Head Start originally established and funded to support low-income families fraught with scandals and abuse. With the budget of more than $11 billion, the program should function to protect and educate minors. Sadly, it was done exactly the opposite. And you guys can read the rest, but sounds to me like they want to improve the Head Start program or get rid of it and put something better in place. So people saying they want to eliminate Head Start isn't necessarily true. And I hate reading. Most of us don't like to read. So 99.9% of us, including me, are not going to read a 922-page document. And Trump is saying that this is not his plan, even though a lot of the people that created this plan are Trump's people. But back on Kamala.
It's funny how people forgot about this.
Vice President Biden, I want to give you a chance to respond to what Senator Harris just said.
When Senator Harris was the Attorney General for 8 years in the state of California, there were two of the most segregated school districts in the country, in Los Angeles and in San Francisco. And she did not, I didn't see a single solitary time she brought a case against them to desegregate them. Secondly, she also was in a situation where she had a police department when she was there that in fact was abusing people's rights. And the fact was that she, in fact, was told by her own people, that her own staff, that she should do something about and disclose to defense attorneys like me that you, in fact, have been, the police officer did something that did not give you information that would exculpate your client. She didn't do that. She never did it. And so what happened? Along came a federal judge and said, enough, and he freed 1,000 of these people. If you doubt me, Google 1,000 prisoners freed, Kamala Harris.
Thank you, Vice President Biden.
I looked into it, and it's true. According to PolitiFacts, Biden got some details wrong, per usual, but apparently it's true.
He did that shit. You're guilty as fuck.
I'm tired, y'all. I'm gonna let Nina Turner end this video with the final reason I'm tired of the Democratic Party.
Don't blame black people for this. Why we gotta keep saving folks? And black men have been emasculated in the Democratic Party. That's real. They don't see themselves because to lift up black women is beautiful. We should, but not at the expense of black men. We have achieved what we have achieved so far in this country because we are together. And we can't pick up other people's bad habits. Now, white women may be able to lead a white man by the side of the road. Sisters can't do that.
So after this long video, I'm not here to tell you who to vote for. I do think you should vote, but I don't think there's any good option. And as you can see, my opinions are all over the place for both candidates. So when it comes to both candidates, I'm out.